Hi everybody, welcome to another Chats with Chaudhry. I hope you're safe and well. As we are now into December, it's time to launch my Reflections and Forecast series 2022-2023, where I sit down with senior executives across life science, pharma and biopharma to learn more about their thoughts on the last 12 months and also look ahead to see what their thoughts and predictions are for 2023. And I'm delighted today to be joined by my first guest on the series, who's Carsten, who's Senior VP, Key Account Management, Supply Chain and Marketing at Vetter Pharma, to get his thoughts on 2022 and also look ahead to 2023. So first of all, Carsten, it's lovely to meet you. How are you?
I'm fine, Chaudhry. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to a constructive and nice interview.
Well, it's lovely to meet you. Thank you for being the first person to take part in the series. My first question to you, though, for people who are not familiar with yourself or Vetter Pharma, is to ask you, can you give us a very quick overview of your role at Vetter Pharma and your own background?
Yeah, I'm here responsible within Vetter Pharma for the global sales organization that consists of the global key account management team and the new business development team. Also the product and service management team and marketing. And I'm also responsible within Vetter for the global end-to-end supply chain, which is mainly about our capacity planning and sales and operations planning process.
Yeah, well, and supply chain is such a buzzword over the last 24 months or so, isn't it? And for people, again, for people not familiar who Vetter Pharma are and what you do, could you give me a quick overview of Vetter Pharma as well?
Yeah. Of course, Vetter Pharma is a family-owned CDMO. We are in the business for more than 70 years, and 40 years of it we have experience in aseptic manufacturing. Company is headquartered here in Ravensburg in Germany, southwest of Germany. Family-owned company, independent CDMO. So it means we have no own products. Yeah, we purely customer oriented. We have facilities in Germany, Austria, and United States. The company currently have 5,700 employees. We do a variety of services from early stage development, clinical manufacturing to commercial supply. Yeah. And the numerous of packaging options for injectables. So we are focused on aseptic manufacturing of pre-filled syringes, cartridges and vials. And and we give sustainability a big focus these days. And the company is carbon neutral since 2021, quite an important information for us.
Yeah, well, that is important. Or maybe we'll touch on that a little bit later as well. Yeah. So looking back in the last 12 months, my first question to you regarding 2022 is, how would you describe the year in one word and why?
Good question. I would describe it as volatile, very difficult to predict. We are in the post-COVID situation. In 2022, we see the Russian-Ukraine conflict. We see an energy crisis. And I would say the result is supply chain insecurity, and that we have to deal with.
Right. Okay. Now, you mentioned obviously COVID and the pandemic. So how has the business changed since the pandemic?
Well, it changed a lot. Nevertheless, we kept our mission to supply our customers and patients with drug products worldwide, yeah, and we still want to serve the patients, and we all serve for. However, we see a better reputation, increased reputation of the pharmaceutical and biotech companies with reference to the vaccine supply. Sure. The industry was able to do so, and many other reasons. What else? I would say the employee health became more important.
Sure.
Taking care that our employees are protected and can continue serving for customers and patients. Yeah, and what came also on the table was the ability to work in hybrid forms. from home or from mobile places, from other places than our offices. And we had to prepare for this very quickly.
Sure.
In a nutshell.
And moving on from that, looking back in the last 12 months or so, what have been some of the key achievements from Vetter's point of view? I mean, what have been some of your key successes this year?
Very important for us has been the start of our new facility in Austria. You may have heard that we acquired and prepared a new development service site for our strong demand we see in this field. So we could start with it, and it's now up and running with all what belongs to it. Another important step for us was the alliance we started with Rentschler together. We call it Expert Alliance. It's another partner here in this area regarding biotech industry. What also needs to be mentioned at this point is our sustainability report.
Sure.
We published it, and it has a lot of informative content, very important content, and it remains a very, very important part of our business we do.
And you mentioned the sustainability report. What were some of the key highlights or findings of that report?
First of all, again, we are a CO2 neutral company since a while. That's the most important thing in it. We have several of our facilities here equipped to support this, and we handle it as a holistic field and look for every single piece, which makes it a complete part to achieve the highest level possible.
Right. Okay. And this really follows on, I think, from what you just said about sustainability. Looking back, what industry trends have really stood out for you?
So it became more or less unexpectedly difficult and challenging environment we were in. And I think this is valid for many sectors of the industry with regards to energy supply and the cost linked to it. The labor market became more difficult, and material supply. These three cornerstones are very, very challenging for us. In general, with a look to the global pipeline, we see there's still a strong growth. The parenterals, we see by 2026 more than $1 trillion in this field. So we have to be prepared for this growth. We see complex oncology products as one of the major drivers in this field of business, and also the sales of rare diseases still on track with double-digit growth. And this is also part of the preparation we do for the industry developments.
Right. And one question which came into my head when you're talking about you being a CDMO is, have you seen the role of the CDMO change over the last few years? Because I was at Bio this year and I was seeing how it was a CMO, CDMO, and they're all being called different things. And then there's CDMOs or whatever you want to call it. And the things are changing all the time. So as a business, which has obviously historically been in that space, have you seen the role of the business and what's been expected from you as a CDMO change over the years?
So there's strong change, as always, but these times even stronger than in the years before. So due to the trends I summarized for 2022, we see a big ask to CDMOs to answer the strong demand for, let me say, technically high sophisticated manufacturing support. We have to prepare for those complex molecules. Also, as a company, we have to find answers and to prepare for other trends like the multiple cell and gene therapy therapies, DNA-based. They made the leap from the scientific innovation, I would say, throughout the groundbreaking medications, and this becomes more and more real. and will be part of our business tomorrow. And another big impact we see is in the area of digitalization. So we have to make our homework. We did a lot already, and there's a lot of in front of us, especially if it comes to artificial intelligence and machine learning, things like this. All this is part of our setup for tomorrow. Automation and robotics is another piece of it. We have to gain these solutions always customer and patient in mind.
Fantastic. Right. And my final question relating to 2022 is, are there any areas that you think the industry could improve upon or could have done better in 2022?
Yeah, I think so. I would touch again the topic of sustainability. Yeah. The industry has a massive carbon footprint, and we have to this has even bigger grown than the automotive industry, and we have to there's a need for cultural environmental consciousness, by seeking new ways to balance the economic performance. We all look for social responsibility and ecological impact, I would say. This is the field I would say the industry could improve the most.
And what do you think has driven pharma to have such a large carbon footprint? Is it the fact that single use, for example, is being used more, or what's been driving that growth in the carbon footprint?
Yeah, this is single use is one big term in it, but also mainly concentrating on the supply, you know, whatever it costs. That's the way of thinking, and this has to be more balanced, and we have to add more arguments and criteria to continue on one hand with the supply for patients, no doubt about that, but other arguments came into the field. Right.
Okay. Yeah. Now let's look ahead now to next year, because obviously 2023 is fast approaching. It's scary how quickly time flies when you're busy. So what are your predictions for the sort of life science pharma sector in general for 2023?
So what we see on our end is interesting development from, let me say, a single blockbuster type of business towards let me call it a coexistence of those blockbusters and also small batch size business. As a CDMO, we are prepared for both. You know, we have to manage both at the same time, and this is complex. This is part of the invests we do and the preparation we do for a better fit for tomorrow. Yeah, and as I said, post-COVID, we have to still manage the remaining and existing challenges, and this is security of supply, by managing again the labor part, the energy part, the cost part, especially, which crashes into our financials a lot. We have to still have a look at it and talk with our partners how we can go on here.
Right, and from a sort of specifically looking at pharma manufacturing, what developments and trends do you expect to see there?
I would say we have to prepare for even more flexibility. We hear this again and again, that we have to be flexible. This is also a complex part, being flexible. Yeah, a lot of detail that has to be discussed. However, what is flexibility about? We talk about a broader range of formats, packaging and devices from our end, but also the right way of agreements. What exactly is needed from our partners to call it flexible? Everyone has a different definition. This has to come in place. What we see is a long-term outlook for more and more of our clients, defining with us how the collaboration looks like, what type of capacity is needed, how much of the capacity should be reserved, and what should be contractually agreed on. Yeah? For example, another important point is time to market from our end. We see it becomes more and more relevant how fast we are, how much speed we have. going towards the market, towards launches and commercialization. It plays a big role in our company, and the uninterrupted trend to digitalization is something we have on our agenda. We have to do it to keep an increase in efficiency in a growing market and growing business environment we are in. And this is, I would say, the top three I mentioned. Yeah.
Right. And one question I would ask you, because obviously from your own background in terms of supply management, is you talked about security of supply chain. So without giving any secrets away, of course, but how do you make sure that you maintain that security of supply chain these days, and also couple that with sustainability? Because obviously prior to the pandemic, everyone was looking to China, India for a lot of their elements that they make up for the drugs and so on. Obviously during the pandemic, that became a bigger issue. And I know a lot of companies and even countries are now looking to have more local supplies as much as possible.
Yes.
But that's not always possible for everything that you need. So how have you as a business tried to secure that supply chain?
This is a very good question, and it has a big place in our strategy and our day-to-day business. First of all, I would like to mention that during the pandemic and also up to now, there was not a single interruption in our supply chain towards our patients. This is a big statement after all what we experienced in the last months and years. And the security of supply is a complex field. I only can mention some examples.
Sure.
Yeah, and we take it as a holistic approach. We look into every corner to make it happen. And let me take the field of material. We experience shortages and bottlenecks in some important materials we need for production. Here we have to step forward in becoming more independent from one country or from even one supplier. So multi-source is the keyword. Yeah. Also from the continent perspective or the country perspective, we made our experience as many other people did. And at the same time, we have to manage with strongly forward-looking the right number and a quality of people and talents on board with our company. This has to be organized accordingly. We do so, and therefore we could so far manage this difficult field in the last time. It's ongoing, but we have to. And yeah, at the same time, we have to keep a deep relationship with our partners from the supplier side and the customer side to partner. Be very open together and identify the fields we could have bottlenecks and start very early working on them, removing them, and make it keep it up and running. Yeah, in a nutshell.
A very big nut. One thing you also mentioned a bit earlier when we were talking about 2022 developments from Vetter's point of view was obviously your alliance with Rentschler, for example. So one, what does that alliance actually mean? Because you just mentioned it, so if you could talk a little bit more. But also, do you think collaboration between organizations is going to be the way forward within this space? Because I know from my own experience talking to other companies as well, you suddenly found a lot more partnerships with different companies you wouldn't have otherwise thought they would be working together, whether downstream or upstream. You've seen a bit more collaboration with different organizations.
Yeah.
How do you see that developing in 2023?
So to answer your question clearly, there's a clear yes. Yeah, this is a clear trend, and we see a big advantage in it. You cannot do everything on your own. With example of Vetter Pharma, we are expert in what we do. Yeah, we concentrate on aseptic filling, our services around, and packaging and assembly solutions. But if it comes to other industry parts in the value chain, for example, drug substance production, this is not the field we are the biggest expert in. So, but from our customer perspective, it makes sense that we work together. Yeah. The idea in mind is to make it as much as possible easy for our clients to deal with us.
Sure.
From the day-to-day perspective, and it makes sense to sit together with also with external partners in the value chain and think about what can we do better to make it easier for our clients to do business with us. And this is the major idea behind. It goes towards projects we work on, we acquire together, up to the documents we use and the pharmaceutical environment we work in together. This is one example. Yeah. So clear, yes, yeah, and also on the other side, downstream, clear, yes, we do this.
Fine. And in terms of the Rentschler Alliance, how is that going to work?
Pretty good. You know, both companies are located close to each other, both here in southwest of Germany. Both companies are family owned. So you see the structure of the companies, the intention to serve customers and patients is absolutely the same. There's a very good understanding about the needs, the unmet needs. And this works out very, very well between the management teams, the people that work together. It feels very close, but both companies will be kept separately. That's also very important to know. Yeah. There are no plans to merge the company or things like this. There's a clear condition in this alliance.
Right, and that leads nicely to my next question: is what can we expect from Vetter Pharma in 2023?
Yeah, let's have an outlook for 2023. It's coming shortly in a few weeks. So we will continue our efforts in sustainable growth. Yeah. So we go on and do not compromise in our quality and our security of supply. This is number one. Yeah. Whatever happens, all the team members here work on this. Furthermore, we continue our strong investment plan. We have a very big investment plan already ongoing since a few years, and we have several years in front of us to expand our capacities, meeting our demands. It's in the areas of development service, aseptic filling, visual inspection, and also packaging departments and sites, and in order to simply meet the market demand. And also these plant expansions will also go hand in hand with the optimization of the infrastructure across our sites, the existing infrastructure, to keep it state of the art and to the high levels and quality levels we are used to deal with. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, finally, and I'll let you go because I know you're a busy man, is what last thoughts or comments would you like to leave viewers for 2023?
Very difficult to predict, but we have a plan, you know. So I would say, despite the unfortunate events affecting our world with all the crisis and the war we see, we remain confident here as a management team that we can continue all our efforts to secure the security of supply, the supply of life-saving medicines, medications for our patients worldwide. This is the most important focus we have and we keep.
Fantastic. Well, look, Carsten, I appreciate you taking the time out to talk to me. It's been really interesting, and thank you for answering all the questions openly and honestly. I really appreciate that. I wish you and the business and all your loved ones a fantastic end to 2022, and hope you have a fantastic holiday season and obviously a fantastic start to 2023 as well. So thank you very much for your time, for taking part in this season's reflections and forecasts.
Yeah, thank you very much, and I can echo this. Same to you, and same to all people listening and watching. Have great holidays, some quiet days over the year, and have a successful start in 2023.
Thank you very much, guys. Well, there you go, viewers. I hope you found that interesting. I certainly did. I learned a lot more about the security supply chain and various other things from Carsten today. So if you would like to know more about Vetter Pharma, I will actually put the link to Vetter Pharma's website above the video, so you can learn more about that. If you have any questions for Carsten based on what he talked about today, then please feel free to put them in the comments below, because I'm sure Carsten will be delighted to answer any questions you have based on what he talked about today. And in fact, we'll get the link to the sustainability report and put that above the video as well, if you'd like to learn more about the sustainability report as well. So Carsten, once again, thank you very much for taking part. And viewers, thank you as always for watching. And I wish you a fantastic end to 2022 and a great 2023. And as always, stay well and stay well. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.